Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about the problem I have with Farron from the Pretty Little Liars spin-off slash reboot, and how I feel in season 2, once again, Hollywood does not know how to write a strong female character. I am just baffled at everything this character is going through in season 2, especially in episode 4. I'm just like, no. No, 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 no. There's no way she's able to lift that thing for 2 stinking hours without dropping it. And this is a real huge problem I am having with Hollywood and how it depicts multiple things like that has to do with like woke culture and everything, because I love woke culture. I never want it to go away, but Hollywood just can't write it to save their butts. And when it like looks weird or flops or whatever, then you got all those anti-woke trolls and everything complaining about it and everything. And then when the studios get tired of failing, then they're gonna go back to the old everything's white, straight, and like male format and everything. And I don't want to see that happening. And I hate complaining about this because it makes me sound like a bigot, but I'm not. If you ever watch my channel, you know I love strong women. Heck, like there are so many female shows I watched even way before I started my template of Women's History Month and everything. Like, cause when you watch TV, there's lots of like female empowerment from like the 90s and the 80s and stuff like that. There were tons of shows like Xena, Dark Angel, Queen of Swords. There are tons of strong Power Ranger female characters and superhero characters. And all of those were written very well in the 90s. But now it's like Hollywood forgot how to write. And one huge example is this character named Farron from the Pretty Little Liars spin-off series that's on HBO Max. Now, to give credit when credit is due, in season 1, she wasn't that bad of a character. Like, she was kind of a one slate kind of character, not much development here and there, but she wasn't like that bad of a character. Yeah, she has like an attitude, but it's not like your ghetto attitude. See, that's the problem with black folks and TVs and movies. We're not allowed to have attitude no more, because if we do, then we look like a ghetto person, and a lot of black people don't like seeing that. And that's because Hollywood just can't write us like to be like everybody else in everything. But normally when Hollywood writes us, they write us really like me. And so but for the most part, she is kind of forgettable in season 1 because I don't remember much about her, and I'm not going to rewatch season 1 because when it comes to season 1, I've only watched it one time. Season 2 episodes are still airing. There are 4 more to air and everything. And so in season 1, like I said before, she wasn't that bad of a character. But now in season 2, it's just kind of like, what are they doing with her? They literally want her to be Wonder Woman and stuff. Like, I'm not even joking. See, here's the thing about her in season 1. She was a ballet dancer. So, of course, if you're a ballet dancer, you gotta have strong leg and thigh muscles. So that makes sense for her character to have strong feet, strong legs, and strong thighs. You know what I'm saying? So she should be able to do a whole lot of stuff more than a normal average person can who has to use their legs. Granted. And she worked really hard when it came to dancing. We saw her dance, we saw her practice, we saw her overcome obstacles. And season 1, like I said before, wasn't a bad character. She even had a frenemy in the form of Kelly, who kept competing with her and trying to be better than her and stuff like that. I think she wanted to be like the swan person in the Black Swan or Swan Lake or something like that she was competing for in season 1. But she had a bit of a difficult time trying to get to where she needed to get to. And we got to see that progression and everything. That's great. Not only that, but it gave her scoliosis in season 1. So she had to overcome that. That's great. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she wasn't that bad of a character. But now in season 2, not only is she like a token black character, but she's literally a Mary Sue. She is literally perfect in everything and can do nothing wrong. And is even to the point where her boyfriend's always apologizing to her because he is a sponge. And like, I don't get it. And sometimes I think, maybe I'm a little hard on her, but I'm like, no, there's two characters in the main cast that are just like badly written. Mouse is badly written for season 1 and 2 because she's literally an idiot. When it comes to that online stuff, she needs to stay off. You know what I'm saying? And this show does a really weird way of making Farron this Wonder Woman type person. She has literally said, like I told you in episode 3, like I told you, she's so tough, I bet you she'll try to fight the killer. And she tried in episode 4. And I'm just kind of like, who are you? Are you Xena? Because you're no Xena and everything. Like, you're like 108, 10, 12 pounds, something like that. Like, you are not Xena and everything. You're probably less than that. And I'm just like, how is she so this strong against all these muscular guys and able to hold a still being for 2 hours? So let's break it down on her development, because the whole scoliosis thing seems like it doesn't even exist. Now, personally, I would have given all of her character development to Tabby this season, because Tabby actually went through some stuff. So I'm going to explain to you all the weird female empowerment they wrote for her that doesn't feel like real female empowerment, and how they could have corrected it to really make it feel like female empowerment and stuff. So let's fix her. So like I said before, she was a dancer. That's now all gone because the killer has killed her dance instructor and they're done with dancing and whatever. The whole scoliosis thing, they pretend like it never happened. But we know it happened because it happened in season 1. So with all that said, she had to wear like a back brace and stuff like that. And now she doesn't have to, and so now she's trying out for swim. She's very athletic. Now, all the girls are scared because of what happened last year with the killer. So they're all going through a fighting class. And as you can see on the far right, Farron has the most aggressive face of them all. She looks very determined. Now, with the swim stuff, the first time we see them all swimming, her and the guys, she beats all of them. And I'm just kind of like, okay, so I guess you're a good swimmer, but I'm not like, you get the muscles in the legs and stuff like that. It can make you move really fast, and that's what you need. Swimmers have very muscular legs. Her legs aren't that muscular, but since she's a dancer, we must now assume this. But then you look at all these guys right here, all of them except for Ash. He's the only one not competing with her and not treating her like crap. But all the rest of the guys are your typical toxic guys. But look at how muscular they are. And compared to her, you mean to tell me that none of these guys could beat her in a swim meet and everything, that she was able to beat every single last one of them? And she used to have scoliosis like not too long ago, like a couple of months ago. How is that possible and everything? This reminds me of the second season of Star Trek Discovery. And I like the actress who plays Tilly and everything, but there's no way she beat all these people in a marathon. Tilly is overweight, very overweight, and everybody she ran against is skinny and muscular. But somehow, after not only getting distracted by this alien, it's Star Trek, so it's sci-fi. She got distracted by an alien for a couple of minutes. Somehow, after done being distracted, she finished the marathon and she beat all these skinny, muscular people. That don't make no sense because she is literally a big, thick girl. And this is kind of the same thing right here, but instead of a thick girl, we got a skinny girl going up against all these muscular people. And I'm just kind of like, this just don't make no sense of how she was able to beat them. Now, what would have made sense would have been if she would have lost against them. If she would have lost and they rubbed it in her face, then she could have we could have seen her practice more and more and wanting to be determined to beat them because she don't like getting made fun of and she doesn't like coming up in second place. And we could have seen the time and the dedication she put in there to where then, it's more believable that she beat them. Baby steps. But the show didn't want to do that. The show wanted to show that she can outdo all these men. Then comes the arm wrestling contest. And I'm all like, okay, I don't care what anybody says. It's not always mind over matter when it comes to arm wrestling. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But muscles really do help. And from what I remember, I believe she beat the guy and everything. And so if she did beat him, one, you have to ask yourself, how was she able to beat him with them skinny little arms and everything? And this dude got some muscles. How? That don't make no sense. It just don't make no sense. I got nothing else to say. It makes no sense that he should have beaten her clean and everything, but yet he wasn't. And we've seen her get harassed by these guys, like I said before. They went into her locker, stole her one piece, and put a skimpy two-piece in there. That pissed her off and everything, right? To where she confronted the guys. She literally had no fear because she was mad. All right, fine. But then the dude she beat in arm wrestling, he made fun of her boyfriend. He called her boyfriend gay. And she got pissed and punched the daylights out of him. And because, she was pissed and she's mad. Her boyfriend didn't defend himself by punching that guy. She did it. And I'm all like, you couldn't even let your own boyfriend defend himself. You had to step in and defend him for her. I'm going to defend him for him or whatever. We've heard so many times when a guy steps in, like, oh, let me take care of this, let me defend your honor. They're like, no, I can handle this myself. And her boyfriend couldn't do that. Instead, he had to get knocked clear out by this skinny girl and everything. And I mean, she hit him hard. Yeah, a girl can hit hard, especially skinny girls and everything. But to hit him the way she did and literally just pop and everything, he should have wobbled and that's it. Not just get completely hit and everything, And that's because they're really trying to build her up to be this very fierce and strong person for some odd reason and everything. Then they wanted to show that she is the only lifeguard there that takes this job seriously. She walks in and all of a sudden there's a little girl drowning. So she looks around and she doesn't see nobody at the lifeguard station. All those guys are missing for some reason. So she hops in, she saves the little girl. And then when the guys finally do come, oh my God, what happened? She berates them as one should because they should have been on this duty. So she asks, which one of y'all, was supposed to be on duty? The one dude raises his hand. She's like, you're fired. He's like, what you fired me for? Well, duh, fool, because you didn't do your job. But here's the thing. They literally wrote it to where she is the only responsible one. So seriously, all these guys, except for Ash, are so irresponsible they'll let somebody drown, but yet she's the only one who's capable of getting the job done. They are literally writing it to make her this empowered Mary Sue of a character. And that is not real female empowerment and stuff. When it comes to that of defending her boyfriend, he should have defended himself. She could have mouthed off at him and everything. and like, and told him off and everything, but at least let her boyfriend have the honor of punching that dude out. You know what I'm saying? And like, as for like, the lifeguard duty thing, like I said, she was right to berate them, but they literally wrote it to where all them guys were just gone off goofing around. I don't believe for a second that would happen. Like maybe one or two, but not all of them. You know what I'm saying? And so her making captain in the first day was just odd. This should have been built up. After like failing to like beat them in the swim thing, she could, like I said, practice and everything, and then finally beat them. Then all of a sudden, when she realized, like, hey, you weren't doing your job and you should have been doing your job and blah, 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 blah. Then the one adult dude should have been like, all right, you're the captain and everything because you take this responsible. Not just she becomes the captain and then all of a sudden, all these dudes are literally not there and she's the only one with the wherewithal to figure out, hey, I'm responsible enough, I don't get that. Then comes the last thing, the Geiger thing, the steel beam. Now, I don't understand why A is targeting them, or Bloody Rose, I should say. They're the Pretty Little Liars, but they haven't lied about anything. They're not deceiving nobody. They're not being blackmailed. Whenever Bloody Rose has a task for them, for whatever stupid reason, they do it. Don't make no sense. Roberto thinks he's a genius. You're not no genius. And she literally gets because here's the thing. The caller called her, or the killer called her, is all like, meet me right here. So here she is like, I'm finna have my Xena moment. So she goes in like the drawer and pulls out a box cutter. She knows this person has a giant knife. Why you gonna have a teeny tiny box cutter? That's just stupid right there. But she goes there with no backup. Oh, I'm tough. I can take them on by myself. Okay, here's the thing. She gets there. There's a mannequin. There's a note. And the note literally says, you must hold this steel beam for 2 hours or I'm going to get one of your loved ones. And she's just kind of, all she had to do was like leave or call the cops or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like she could protect her own loved ones and the cops could do it too. Why did she do this? Oh, she got proof she's strong. So what does she do? She picks up the beam and hoists them on her shoulders for 2 full hours. How is this possible? She's like 110 pounds. She doesn't have much muscles in her arms, and she's very skinny. And she's a teenager. How is this possible? Now, granted, yes, people can lift like really heavy weights, with the and stuff like that. Like they can lift like over 100 pounds and stuff like that. Okay, granted. But these are normally people with muscles. What is it? The weight bar is like 60 pounds, and then the weights on top of that is extra. When I was in high school, I could lift the weights and everything, but I couldn't lift it over my head. I could lift it to where like my knees are, and then I had to drop it. You expect me, this skinny little girl, was able to lift this thing on her shoulders? Yes, granted. She has some leverage because these things are perched on something. But these things are super heavy. It takes equipment to lift these things in the air. Like, it takes 2 people just to lift like a 20-foot steel beam. Now this thing looks like it's about 10 feet in everything because it's about the size of 2 people. So it looks like it's about 10 feet. There is no way in the world she is able to, 1, lift this thing up, and 2, hold it on her shoulders for 2 hours. There is just no way. I'm sorry, but there is just no way. Here's the thing. There are people who are actually really strong. They are power lifters and everything. There are 2 in wrestling I know of. Mark Henry, who's much older, he can pull a semi-truck with a rope. He can bend an iron skate. skillet and everything. I have seen him do this. It was no CGI or nothing like that. He's older now, and all the wrestling bumps and all that powerlifting stuff has really screwed his spine up the way he has to have things fused, and he ain't gonna be able to, he can't wrestle no more, and he might be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, probably, because that stuff takes a toll on your body. Then there is current wrestler Braun Strowman. I don't like this man. He's like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? I think he's like racist, some racist stuff he said in the past. Is that a racist or prejudice or whatever? But anyway, he's the power lifter. He can flip a semi truck on his back. Yes, he can actually do that. He is a big meat, like beefy person, just like Mark Henry, and they can power lift. They are able to do stuff like that. They could pick up a steel beam, not this girl. Now, like I said before, there's a video of a guy on YouTube. All you gotta do is just like type in guy lift steel beam and you'll find his short. Somehow he lifted it up and went up a shaky ladder. Now here's the thing. I don't know if there was really like a rope attached to it, like a harness. I don't know if this was like a movie prop. Because I don't know this guy. Somebody uploaded this video from somebody else. So the person who uploaded it is not even the person who did it. But as you can tell, he is bigger than Faran and everything. So I guess it's possible and everything. But I can't find no other pictures or no other videos of no other person doing this. So this video has me suspicious. So maybe it's possible, maybe it's not, but I don't think it's possible for her. Because these things weigh a lot of pounds. From what I've read, like, it's per foot, and it's anywhere between 50 to 60 to 80 pounds per foot, and it's about 10, so it's well over 100 pounds. It's somewhere in the 200 or 2 or 300 range. There is no way she can hold this on her shoulders for 2 hours. After re-looking at the picture at a closer look, you can see it's not even on her shoulders. She's literally lifting it with both her hands in the air. I know, this is impossible and everything. And I'm just reading some of the most craziest comments on Twitter talking about, you know, fans have wanted a challenge and she accepted. Oh, like she is the true final girl and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, who is saying this crap? Gen Z people, millennials, like 15-year-olds? Like, who's saying this stuff? I don't get this, man. This is not a superhero type show. Here comes the killer, ready to fight. Well, she's exhausted by now and she can't fight the killer off, but somehow she mustered up enough strength to swing her arms with the box cutter, only to get the box cutter knocked out of her arm, for her to get her arm cut, and for her to then run away really fast and hop over the gate. And the gate is pretty tall. It's one of those like construction working, like, you know, area type gates where it's like at least, I don't know how many feet in the air, but it's enough to be like 2 people. So she climbed that thing, but yet her arms are hurting so bad. So somehow she doesn't have enough strength to like fight the killer, but she can fight the killer off for a little bit and hop over a really tall gate. No, she is not Xena. She is not Wonder Woman. She is not Supergirl. And yet the show thinks this is like female empowerment and a strong woman and everything. This is like fake strong woman. This is fake female empowerment and everything. And I've seen so many people online talking about, wow, give this girl her flowers for doing what she did. Or talking about if she didn't have to hold those like that steel beam, she could have taken the killer. Who is saying this crap? What, Gen Z? Millennials? 15-year-olds? Like, who is saying this crap? Like, this is just laugh out loud fan fiction. Like, it really is. And like I said before, all of this should have went to that Tabby. Tabby in season one had to come with grips in the reality of finding out her best friend assaulted her in the woods. And it has now left her in this season with PTSD. This would have been a whole lot better for her character to want to prove that she is strong and nobody's going to take advantage of her no more. But they gave it to Farron for some bizarre reason. And when it comes to real female empowerment, I'm thinking of like Xena always comes to mind. Now, Xena is a bit of a Mary Sue. And after a while, they did overpower Xena to even back in the day, I'm just kind of like, there's no way she can dangle from a cliff holding on by one arm and holding on to somebody dangling down below and then toss this person over the edge and onto the ground. There's just no way. See, the thing about Xena that makes her a strong, powerful woman and everything is, one, even though her arms aren't big and muscular, which is something that always bugged me, her legs are thick. Her thighs are thick. So when she be throwing them kicks, she be throwing them and stuff. And she's very tall. So you can tell she got some oomph to her when she fights somebody. Xena started off in Hercules. And when she started off in Hercules, she was able to trick Aeolus, but she could not trick Hercules. She was good at what she did, but she wasn't perfect. She had her flaws. Then in the second episode, her gang turned on her and she had to go through a gauntlet where they had to beat the snot out of her as she walked by them. She could not do it and literally passed out. So that's a good flaw, showing that she's not overpowered. By the time she got her own show, of course, she had to be like this heroic type. So, of course, she was able to beat pretty much every bad guy with ease. All these thugs and stuff like that. And so that's typical because that's your superhero-y type show, you know what I'm saying? But whenever she went against a female that was just as powerful as her, she had a hard time fighting them. Sometimes she had a hard time fighting the head of like the goon squad, like a guy and everything. When you had like a gang of guys, their leader sometimes was harder for her to take on, showing that she's not perfect, but she can still get the job done. Then there is the case of the gods or deity gods like Ares and stuff, the Greek gods. This is when it gets a little too overpowered, where she's able to fight a deity god and everything. But when the earlier days, she had a hard time fighting Ares off, but she was still able to fight him off and normally won by like tricking him or something like that. And later seasons, they overpower her where she was able to beat the snot out of him, and even Gabrielle too. This was just kind of when the show was getting a little too wacky and everything, because even Hercules, who's half god, could not defeat Ares in a fight. Those two struggled for a long time. And like I said before, sometimes they did overpower her, but she's a headstrong person who has a dark past. She's very flawed. See, Xena is a deadly woman. She's very dangerous. One little thing can send her over the edge and turn her back evil because she used to be evil. But Gabrielle keeps her in check. That's her one true love in life. And without Gabrielle, she will go off the deep end. When Gabrielle betrayed her, she literally tried to murder Gabrielle. She is not perfect. And then they showed us flashbacks of her, of how she learned how to be as deadly as she is. We get to see her learn how to use pressure points, learn how to fight, learn how to deceive people, how to divide and conquer. She would try to become a god and become powerful, all this magical stuff, but she will always fail. And so she was never ever really a perfect character like Farron is. Then, let's go a little bit slightly more realistic, but not really. Max from Dark Angel. Now, Max is in a sci-fi show where she is genetically modified by the government. a rogue government operation. She's smart, she's fast, she's very strong. She's augmented to be that way. So she can beat up people with ease. However, she has a birth defect that causes her to have seizures, making her not so perfect in everything. Another thing that makes her not so perfect is she does not understand life. Like, because she was created in a test tube, raised in this government facility, her and everybody else broke out when they was little kids. They are trained to blend in with the public. She started living with the family, and since she's trained to blend in, she's able to adapt very quickly, but she doesn't understand things. She doesn't understand the importance of people wanting to date each other. She doesn't understand the importance of a birthday. She is street smart savvy because she had to learn and grow up on the streets, but it's the littlest things that she just doesn't grasp and everything, and people had to teach her that, which makes her a flawed character to where she's not perfect. That is great, and plus she has an attitude to go with it when she's like saving the world and everything. Then there is Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon, not the live action, because in the live action she's perfect. Katara is a very flawed character from start to finish. When we first see her, she's a waterbender, but she doesn't really know how to waterbend because nobody was ever allowed to teach her because all the other waterbenders were killed. So she has to play around in secret, but she's not very good. She is hot-tempered. She is stubborn. She will shout at like her superiors and everything. And, she would not let nobody talk down to her. So that is all great because, like I said before, she is not perfect. As the series goes through and everything, we see her constantly practice her water bending, which now she is starting to get better. And what makes her get even better is that like she stole a water bending scroll from pirates, so she can learn how to do better things. It's hard for her to learn, and because Aang is the avatar and it comes natural to him, she gets very pissed and even shouts at him, and he is the avatar. He is the main superhero or superheroes in this cartoon. And that's because she is hot-tempered. She doesn't know how to keep it in sometimes. And when she's at the water pole and everything, the Northern Water Tribe, that's what it's called, the Northern Water Tribe, she wants to learn waterbending from a real master, but the men don't allow the women to learn. She gets pissed and challenges him in a fight. Her brother literally tells her, yo, you ain't gonna be able to whoop this dude. And she's like, I know I can't, but I'm gonna fight him anyway and everything, because he ain't gonna disrespect me. Like, she's literally standing up for herself, and she holds her own against him, but he is more powerful than her and overwhelms her and everything. And it's only with like finding out who her grandmother is and how good of a student she is teaching herself, he decides he is going to teach her, making her going from a water bending prodigy to an actual master. Now she is an actual master because not only did she learn from the scroll, not only did she learn from teaching herself, but she learned from an actual master. And as the series goes through, she is still very flawed. She fights with Toph and everything. She's still a little bit arrogant, but she's becoming a better person. But then towards in season 3, she is pissed. First, she learns how to blood bend and everything. And she's so good now that she's able to learn very quickly. But she's so pissed because she found the dude who murdered her mom. She goes to assassinate him. And at the very last second, as she's about to kill him, she decides she's not going to do it because he's worse off, because he's like a 60-year-old man living with his mom and everything. And she realizes that this dude is just pitiful, and anything she does to him, like, his life is more miserable now than it would be in death. She has learned to literally control her temper and her rage and everything, and she is, like I said, like a strong female character because she took gradual steps to become who she is and everything. Farron has not done none of that. And this is the way so many female characters are nowadays, that they try to be like strong and empowered. They have no flaws. They are very arrogant. They are super strong and overpowered, and they have not one flaw. But now, after getting her butt kicked, and the only reason she got her butt kicked by the killer is because she had that steel beam on her shoulder for 2 hours. That is the only reason how she got her butt kicked. She is literally a Mary Sue and everything. She is literally perfect, who cannot be defeated. This is not the emphasis of a strong female character, but yet so many of them are written like this in Hollywood nowadays. And I hate pointing this crap out because it makes me sound like a bigot, and I'm not. But this is why, I keep coming on to her so strongly, ugh, and everything, because they literally wrote her to be perfect. It's not called Perfect Little Liars. It's called Pretty Little Liars. And they don't even lie. Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.